Hey guys, Jared Lajani here with Main Street Mogul, and today I just want to talk about a topic that I've seen come up frequently on some of my social media platforms, and something that some people have reached out to me to ask me a lot of questions about lately. And that topic is hiring. When do you hire? How do you hire? Who do you hire? So I'm just going to talk about it a little bit, guys, and just share one of my experiences. So you hire when it's right for you. And I know that's a very simple answer, but there's two different ways of hiring when you're in business. One, you just are doing so much work that you just can't do it anymore, and you're just overwhelmed, and you just literally are busting at the seams, right? You're doing all the sales, you're doing all the service, and the need just becomes super apparent that you must hire. That's the first answer. You know that, and that's an easy one. That's when you hire. But the better way, and the way that I like to do, is I like to have data and KPIs. If you're running a business, you should definitely be running it off of data and KPIs, right? You want to make decisions off of data and not emotions. So if you're keeping the proper data, it can tell you when you'll need to hire. Then you're starting to predict when you'll have to hire instead of just reactively hiring. So the answer is track your data, know when you're going to need to hire, make and hire, and then be ready to do it ahead of time, right? And then of course have a hiring process in place, right? Make sure you have good job descriptions in place that very clearly and easily describe what that hiree is going to do, what that employee is going to be doing, what the expectations are, what the compensation is, what the growth opportunities are, and then go over that job description with them, have them sign it. When you're looking to make a hire, part of your process should be, of course, background checks, drug screens, right? Make sure that you're checking their referrals. Make sure you're looking at their job history. Have that process in place. Have canned questions that you ask in an interview that help you to get to the best decision that you can to make the best hire. Even if you're doing all that stuff, guys, you still have a 50-50 shot. Hiring's tough right now. It's probably the most difficult it's been. The whole culture around it, the whole mindset around it is different, but it is possible. It can be done. So make sure you have a good hiring process in place. The other question I get is, where do you find people at? Well, guys, all the avenues that you would think, there's no secret to it, right? We use Indeed. You can use any of the job platforms out there. We personally just like Indeed. Social media. I personally have always got my eyes and ears open for anyone in my community that provides amazing service for me. I'm trying to recruit them. If they make me feel amazing, do great service, whether it be a waiter or somebody at a restaurant that is just really being exceptional, or someone at a hotel, I'm trying to hire them, guys. So I know it can be difficult, guys, but it can be done. I'd love to just share real quick the story of my first hire. We have over 65 employees now. We have systems. We're much better at it, but we had a lot of difficulty, and I learned a lot of hard lessons going from my first employee to where we're at today. So my first employee was my friend. That's what we all do, right? Highly recommend not to hire your friends or family. I know a lot of people do it and can have some success with it, but it's really hard to manage the relationships of a brother or a friend. There's a lot of expectations and just a lot of difficulty there. The relationship from being somebody's friend or family member versus being their boss is very different, and it kind of is, it's very challenging, right? Also, I love to hire church members. We're a Christian company. I love having a Christian culture, but I had to learn the hard way. Don't hire somebody just because they go to your church. Even if they go to your church, still put them through the same system, right? But anyway, my first hire was my friend. The guy had been out of work a little bit. I needed some help. Once again, I'm busting at the seams. So I hired him to help me come do some services. Brought him on, was very naive, gave him a 50% commission, gave him a truck, all the equipment, fuel card, gave him that 50% commission because I didn't know if I'd be able to afford at first to pay him that salary or hourly. And I felt like if I just paid him a commission, it's the kill what you eat theory, right? If he didn't produce, he didn't work, I didn't have to pay him, I wasn't on the hook. totally have changed my mindset since then. But anyway, that's what I did with my very first hire. And at first it worked okay, guys, right? He actually ended up being a pretty good salesman. He was able to take some stops so I could focus on some of my systems and structure and not be completely overwhelmed. And it was going okay. And he was making a really great living. But as I'm sure some of you guys have figured out with the pay structure that I described, I was actually losing money. It was not great for me. But anyway, after a while, unfortunately, he started doing some unethical things. He started moonlighting, servicing some customers on the side for cash, not telling me. There was some abuse with the fuel card and just some things that I had to address. And when I went to address it with him, he was a friend, right? It got a little emotional, unfortunately, and I ended up having to fire him. And that was terrible. I was devastated. You know, I lost a friend. I trusted him. It was just, you know, all the feels, right? It's just terrible. But then also, after I fired him, he broke back into my office later that night, got into my computer system and stole all my customer information, then went and worked for a competitor with that information, and him and the competitor systematically tried to steal all my customers. And they did have some success, guys, and it was tough, you know, but entrepreneurship is tough. But I stood up, dusted myself off, got back to it. My next hire was an office manager. I'm a big believer in hiring for your weaknesses. I was really weak in the office system, so I hired an office manager. And from there, you know, we hired techs and termite techs and salesmen, and we just went down the road over the years and progressed. And I got wiser and I got smarter. And today I actually hired somebody to do the hiring for me because I never really got great at it and I was weak at it. So I hired somebody to do the hiring and the firing now, because I still today hate doing firing. So hire for your weaknesses. But my point of sharing this, guys, is that hiring can be difficult. It can be challenging. But I just shared my first hire. It was a disaster. Once again, we have 65 plus employees now. We've gotten a lot better. In anything, you just have to start. We always suck when we start. You just learn, get better. It can be done. So guys, I hope this was helpful. I hope you got some value from it. If you have any other questions, you can email me at bugbossing@gmail.com. Like, subscribe, guys. I really appreciate it. And if you guys would like to hear any more of the horror stories from that 1 to 65, I have a lot. It took me a while to learn. I did a lot of stupid things, and I could literally write a book on the horror stories of some of the mistakes I've made and some of the things that's happened to me over the years and hiring employees, guys. So anyway, be blessed out there, guys. Have a great day. I love you guys. Bye.